lovely people. This is Dr. J of Junie Counseling. Welcome. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world, and I'm so glad you're here. Over the last while, we've been talking about High Five. These are the 5 tasks that I encourage all my students to work on as they prepare for the college application process. Today, we're finally going to talk about the last one, which is about letters of recommendation. So, the first thing you need to determine is how many letters are required for your university application. Believe it or not, there are some applications out there that require 0. So, if that's the case for you, then lucky you. But there are many applications that require up to 3 letters of recommendation. On average, I would say that universities require around 2. This is in addition to your counselor recommendation from school. Okay, keep that in mind. But anyway, because the average is 2, it's a really good idea to start thinking of at least 2 teachers who know you really well, both academically but also holistically as a person. So, once you've determined those 2 individuals, the best practice is to make a formal request. It's very possible that your school already has a process for this, so absolutely follow the process that's outlined by your school. What I tell all my students is make that formal request face to face. It's polite, it's respectful. It just shows that you're taking this process very seriously. You're asking them in a timely manner, asking them for their support for you for this really important application. Hopefully, once they say yes, typically the next step is to provide your writers with notes. Once again, if there's a process for this that is outlined by your school, then absolutely follow that process. But generally speaking, it is a best practice to provide your teachers with some helpful notes that will help them see the bigger picture of who you are. What are your interests and skills outside of the classroom? Maybe you have some passion projects you've been working on, summer work, volunteer. Maybe you are, the neighborhood babysitter and super popular because you're great with working with kids. So, all of these details can really be helpful for your teacher because not only are they writing about you as a student of a certain class, but some of these details can help them to have further insight on other attributes about you: your tenacity, your persistence, your creativity, your leadership. These are all really fantastic things that they can include in their letter for you. Now, an optional piece that you can include in your notes is about anything personal. Some students think that it's helpful to include perhaps any learning disabilities. Maybe you've had an extended illness that impacted your studies, or maybe you've moved schools or moved countries, or maybe some of those periods where you were transitioning and acclimating to a new school or culture impacted your studies a little bit, and that's actually quite normal. But if you share this information with your teachers, that can really help them to see the bigger picture as well. Now, sharing that personal info is, of course, completely optional, but for some students, I think that they will find that it can be quite helpful for their writers. Okay? Now, I've shared some very brief thoughts on how to go about this process, but I know it can still be challenging for some students. Maybe you're not sure who to ask. Maybe you are new to your school. Do you ask your current teachers or maybe consider asking a former teacher? Or let's say you have asked teachers, but you're not really sure what kind of notes to write for them. I know it's not always easy, and that's okay. Feel free to jot down questions in the comments. If you're struggling with any part of this process, I am here and happy to help. All right, just let me know. But for now, let's meet where you are and see where you'll go. Until next time.